Hey everyone, welcome to Across the Association. It's kind of a new series we're doing where we talk about the NBA every few weeks. And here with Austin today.
Yeah, I know we got a bunch of good topics coming up, so we're just gonna kind of get right into it.
Yeah, let's do it. So, kind of the first thing I wanted to talk about is the Clippers, and I think this is something that we're both really interested in. In the last 15 games, they've gone 13 and 2 as they started off 6 and 21 but are now 19 and 23, currently 10th in the West. Austin, what do you think about the Clippers right now and how far can you see them going in the playoffs?
So I want to start by saying I think they're just playing really good as a team right now. And you kind of have to ignore the 6-21 at first, like because how hot they're being. And this is the right time to get hot. Right around the trade deadline and the All-Star game. This is when you can maybe add a piece. Even though with the way they're playing, I don't know if they really need a major piece, but they're playing good. And also in terms of the playoffs, I think they started out so badly they kind of ruined their chance of getting like a decent seed. They're most
Yeah.
likely going to be a playing team, but they're a dangerous team. Like they remind me a lot right now of what the Pistons were last year. Coming into the playoff, I believe the Pistons were a six seed, and I don't know if the Clippers will be that high, but they gave the Knicks their toughest battle until the Knicks lost to the Pacers. So I think the Clippers will be a tough out for everyone. I think there's a chance they could win for a round one playoff series. I still think it's questionable, but they're going to be a tough. I'll put it this way. I think with the Clippers in the playoffs, whoever plays them in the first round, they're going to lose in the second round because the Clippers play physical, they're tough, and they're just relentless. And they're good as a team too.
Yeah, they are. I think one of the really interesting things about this team is that obviously Kawhi and Harden are kind of up there in age, but they've been playing some of their best basketball. I mean, Harden is playing arguably his best basketball in maybe 5 years. I mean, even better than when he was on the Nets, better than the Sixers for sure. And he's there was that one stretch where he was just kind of having like 35-point games. I think he had a 55-point game, which is crazy. And there are a lot of people who have stepped up on the Clippers. I mean, Zubac is always amazing. Brook Lopez has been decent recently. Jordan Miller. Some people like that, they've just been doing really big things for the Clippers, or at least what the Clippers need them to do. And the interesting thing right now is, as I said, they're the 10 seed, but let's look at the teams who are ahead of the Clippers. It's the Trailblazers, the Warriors, the Suns. I mean, they're only five
Like
games
all
behind
teams
the
that I could
Warriors.
see them beating, like in like the play-in. Because I mean, the Blazers,
Yeah,
I think they'll be in the play-in. I don't really take them that seriously. The Warriors, I mean, they just lost Jimmy Butler, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. The
yeah.
Suns, they're just kind of inconsistent. I think that's a fair thing. And the Lakers, I mean, I don't know if the Lakers will be a playing team, but I mean, it feels like every day I see a new quote about JJ Redick saying how bad the Lakers are playing. I mean,
Yeah, he's not too optimistic about his own team.
dude, it's crazy.
Yeah, at least he keeps it real. That's something that
Yeah.
could you get respect for
Yeah, he
that.
does. He doesn't do coach speak, but yeah, no, I think the Clippers will be a dangerous team. They're one of my probably favorite teams to watch in
Yeah,
the
they're fun.
playoffs. And yeah, I will say I would like to see a Clippers Thunder first round. That would be that'd
Yeah.
be interesting.
That'd be really good, and obviously it would always be fun to see Shea playing against his old team. Even though I think it would be a pretty easy win for the Thunder, but still fun. And yeah, I think now we can kind of talk about the Warriors, because just yesterday we got news that Jimmy Butler tore his ACL, so obviously he'll be out for the season. And I believe Jimmy Butler is 37, so this is obviously a
Yeah,
really
he's
pivotal
it's a
moment
tough
in.
injury to come back from.
Yeah, it really is. So this is a tough pivotal moment in his career, but also for the Warriors. So Austin, I'm just kind of thinking, what do the Warriors do from here? Do they trade Steph? Do they trade Jimmy? There's this whole Kuminga situation unfolding, which
Mhm.
is I don't know why it's as big as it is, but obviously some people find it interesting in the NBA. So what do you think they should do?
So I don't think you can trade Steph. I mean, there's certain players in like the history of all sports in the franchise that you can just never let go. Like I look at, Aaron Judge with the Yankees, like no matter what, they can never trade him. Um,
Yeah,
I look in the NFL, Pat Mahomes with the Chiefs, Lamar Jackson with the Ravens, like the players like that, you just can't trade. And Steph, I mean, I don't think he'd want to get traded either. If he wanted to, I believe they would honor his request. But
yeah,
it's just so tough to go on for here because, in my opinion, I think they held on to Clay Thompson a year or two too late.
yeah,
I
they
think
did.
that was kind of the problem in giving Draymond all that money, and all of a sudden, I mean, Steph, I'll say he's worth the money he's getting because, I mean, any given night he can still knock down a 35-point
Well,
game.
he's also an all-star starter this year, which is
Yeah, I know, and
crazy
that too,
considering
which
he'll
is
be
tough to
38.
do in the NBA. There's only like, yeah, I mean, there's only 10 all-star starters in the NBA out of what's probably 300 players. So,
Yeah,
I mean, Steph is still, I'd say, in the top 10, 15 range, even maybe top 7 range in the NBA,
yeah,
like in terms of player rankings. But it's just you have to build a team around him But I feel like it's similar to with the Lakers and LeBron, which is why they got Luka. You can't make Steph the main piece of your team here. I believe he's 36. Um,
I
I
think he's
could
a
be
bit
wrong,
older.
but
I think he's 38, which is crazy. He
oh
doesn't feel
yeah,
that old at all.
yeah. No, I mean, he's still playing pretty young. I mean, LeBron, LeBron's age is showing, which we'll get into that. But I just think the Warriors. I mean, if you trade Kuminga, your future's ruined. But if
Yeah.
you keep him because he doesn't play really well as Steph, I know his stats have been pretty good this year. But I mean, in my opinion, the only hope is if Giannis mm, requests a trade again or something like that, or a big player. I mean, in
Yeah.
my opinion, what they should have done this offseason was get Kevin Durant. I thought that was the move to do this offseason for them.
Interesting. I think I would love to see Giannis on the Warriors. I think that would be really fun and good switch up just for the NBA. But unfortunately, Giannis said he wants to stay in Milwaukee, which is a bit rough for the Warriors and kind of for the league. I don't know. I don't know how you feel about this, Austin, but I think it would be a fun change of pace, and especially seeing Giannis in the West. That would be crazy to have him and Wemby and Jokic, like all these really dominant center power forwards in the same conference. It would be really fun. Also, just kind of a cool, like all these international players and then Shea as well.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I guess we could actually, interestingly enough about KD, we can go to the Thunder because I've been seeing a lot of kind of narratives online saying he's kind of ruined the Thunder, which is interesting. And I think there's this narrative around the league right now that whenever KD goes to a team like the Suns,
Mhm.
he kind of just ruins their young core. I was just wondering, what do you think about that?
So with Katie and the Rockets, yeah, it was pretty interesting. Going into the year, and I think we talked about this at the very beginning, like right after the season started. I wasn't too high on the Rockets, not because of KD, which ends up kind of being the reason. It's just I thought their core was too young, and I actually
Yeah,
thought they were making this move to a year too early. Like because last year, I mean, they lost to the Warriors, played them tough, 7-game series, but it's like I like the Rock. I mean, if I'm kind of the GM of the Rockets, I want to give this young core another year to see who I trade, who I keep, because there's some players on the Rockets right now where maybe you probably should have traded for Durant instead of like the other guys. Um, so I think the Rockets, I think they popped a lot more than people expected last year. In this offseason,
yeah,
it's like, oh, the Rockets Giannis, the Rockets KD, the Rockets Cat, if the Knicks, decide to trade him. And so it's just, I just think I think the Rockets should be doing what the Spurs are doing right now, where I know the Spurs acquired De'Aaron Fox last year, but De'Aaron Fox, very team player. I know KD is a team player, but De'Aaron Fox, he's still a very young guy and he fits. He already fits with that system.
yeah.
And I know he's
Well, I
not
think
putting.
what's
Oh,
oh,
go
sorry,
ahead.
you go.
Oh, I was about to say I know he's not putting up the same numbers as he did in Sacramento, but I still think De'Aaron Fox he just fits well with the team. He's a young, hungry
Yeah.
player.
I mean, they definitely could use a better point guard. I mean, I do love. I actually don't even know who's starting at point guard for them right now. I know Amen Thompson is definitely kind of the leading guard in that backcourt. But I still think this team is really solid. Like I think people are kind of. I think obviously KD has been kind of just the scapegoat for a lot of people for the last decade for what's wrong with the NBA. Obviously with the Warriors situation that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and he's kind of the villain. But this team is still really good. I mean, Jabari Smith is amazing. He just put up 30 the other night. Şengün is amazing. He'll probably be an all-star. They still have, like I said, Amen Thompson and Durant. KD's been playing amazing this season. He's been playing really well, especially considering his age. And this is a team that in the West, they're still 25 and 15, which is really good. And that's only four games behind the third seed, 5 games behind the second seed.
Mhm.
So again, the West and the East this year are kind of similar in the sense that they're both really close and that it'll be really hard for a lot of teams to make the playoffs. So I could easily see the Rockets winning an additional 5 games and then kind of just beating out the Timberwolves and the Nuggets.
Mhm.
Maybe the Spurs, maybe not. But this is a team that could still be like one of the top seeds, and your seeding in the West doesn't really matter at this point. I
Yeah,
think,
because everyone
unless
just
you're,
I feel like in the
yeah,
West,
unless you're
everyone
top
just treats
six.
everyone. Yeah, and I want to read you some kind of something interesting. So
Yeah,
the MLB has seen a spike in ratings the past couple of years. Why? Well, the Yankees are good, big market team. The Mets got Juan Soto, New York, big market. The Phillies have been electric. The Dodgers signed everybody. So Philadelphia, New York, LA, and also the Cubs too. So Chicago, Philadelphia, New York, Chicago, LA, arguably the four biggest sport markets. All their teams have been good. And
yeah,
if you look at the NBA, I just want to read the West, the top five teams in the West: Oklahoma City, San Antonio, Denver, Minnesota, Houston.
Yeah, not
No
a
big
single big
markets,
market team.
which is what's killing the NBA ratings, which I don't mind. I just like good basketball. But I mean, the only team in there that, brings in like significant ratings is the Spurs just because all the success they've had. So they can still
Yeah.
bring a decent rating. But if you look at that, and after that, I mean, you have like LA, like the Warrior, like San Francisco, the Warriors, Phoenix, the Clippers. Like it's just the NBA, like the ratings are just are getting killed right now because all these dynasties, I don't want to call them dynasties, but all the past champions like Denver, Oklahoma City. I think everyone knows Minnesota's going to win one in the next 3 to 5 years. San Antonio's going to win one in the next 3 to 5 years. It's just like all their good teams are just in like small market cities, and even in the East too. I mean, their number one team is Detroit, and
Yeah.
yes, you have Boston, which is they're looking kind of dangerous right now. And but like the
Yeah.
Knicks are slacking, and like I mean after like the Sixers are fine, but after that it's just like Orlando, Cleveland. Like you need the Chicago's, the Miamis, like the New Yorks to like kind of start playing good.
Yeah, well, I think that's actually interesting is that the NBA has actually seen the best ratings in about 15 years this season, which is kind of crazy. I mean, like just in the first month, they had some of the best viewership in 15 years. And I think that's kind of thanks to, well, actually, maybe not thanks to, but I think they have so many streaming partners now that if you do have all the streamers, it's really easy to
Yeah.
watch these games. And the ratings, I mean, the ratings, people don't like the NBA has so many games. And let's be honest, people are illegally streaming these games. Like you
Oh
see
yeah.
it all over social media, you see it on YouTube. People talk about it very openly all the time. So I think the ratings are actually pretty good. What I like about the NBA right now is that it's just really competitive. I mean, like I was saying, we've talked a bit about the West, so we could transition a bit to the East. If you look at the East, I mean, again, it's kind of the same thing. Like the 8 seed Heat have 22 wins and the 2 seed Celtics have 26. So there's this like 2 through 8 seed kind of like maybe not a no man's land, but almost like it's just a wild west. Like you don't know what's going to happen. And I think that's made the NBA really fun to watch. But also the fact that the teams that are good and the teams that aren't doing so well are kind of unpredictable. Like the Pistons being the 1 seed, I think we knew this was going to happen eventually, but it's kind of soon. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe didn't think this was going to happen for
Kind of what
another
happened
year or
with the
two.
Rockets last year.
It's exactly what happened. Yeah, that's a good comparison. And then the Celtics, without Jason Tatum, are the second seed with 26
Oh,
wins.
Jalen Brown's like it's like
Jalen,
crazy.
yeah, I mean he's an MVP contender for sure.
He's
But one thing
phenomenal.
I think that's really interesting about the conference this year is actually the Knicks. And the Knicks started off the year really strong, but in their last 10 games are 2-8. And now there are talks about Karl Anthony Towns being traded. And I was just wondering, what do you think's going wrong with the Knicks at the moment?
I think it went wrong last year when they fired Tibbs.
Yeah,
I think I instead of firing him, I think you maybe tell him, hey, adjust your coaching style because he had him like every regular season. I know they kind of would gas out into the postseason, but they were solid. And I like Mikal Bridges. I like Brunson. They have some good pieces, and but the real depth kind of got eliminated when they got Karl Anthony Towns. And
yeah,
I just the Knicks are just so complicated because I just look at the team. I just look at the Celtics right now, and they're this good without Jason Tatum. When Tatum comes back, he doesn't even need to be a one. He can be a two or a three. Like he
yeah.
could be like kind of like not the main guy. And I think that I mean at this point, I think the Celtics come out of the East. I just think the Pistons are still too young, but I do think the Magic, they're in my opinion the
Yeah.
interesting team in the East.
They're really interesting. I mean, they have a good roster. They have some decent coaching, and they're the 6th seed right now. And again, like the seeding in the West, or sorry, well, maybe the West too, but what I meant to say was the seeding in the East doesn't matter too much at the moment. Like I said, it's really unpredictable. But the fact that the Magic have the same amount of wins as the Sixers and are 3 wins behind the Celtics means that in like just within 2 weeks, if they keep doing well, they could jump to like the 3rd seed or the 4th seed, which is really interesting. And then if you give them home court advantage, where do they go from there? Like how deep in the playoffs can they go?
Yeah, and interestingly enough, when you bringing up the Sixers, the more I watch them, the more I like them.
Hmm.
Like it's just the more I watch them, the more I watch Tyrese Maxey and stuff. Like Sixers, I could see the Sixers being like, let's say the Pistons, like I mean, Sixers Pistons second round. Let's say the seeding like this holds up, which in the East, I mean, it's still like a hodgepodge, but it's looking like you kind of know who's going to be what. Because I think the
Yeah.
Sixers, if they play the Raptors, they take care of them. But Sixers Pistons second round, that would be, if you're a Pistons fan, you should be really scared about that one.
Yeah, and I think the Sixers are the way I see the Sixers this year is that I don't really have them going too far. I think at most they're at an Eastern Conference Finals appearance. But I mean, again, the East is so unpredictable, so who knows? Like the Magic could make the Eastern Conference Finals
Oh yeah.
depending on the matchups. But I think the Sixers are going to be one of those teams where they might win the first round. I mean, as it stands right now, they play the Raptors. That would be tough. Obviously, the Sixers have a checkered past with them. Um, but if they beat the Raptors or whoever the four seed will be, that could also be the Knicks, which would be tough. Let's say they go to the second round and they play the Celtics or the Pistons. Now, that's a series that both the Celtics and the Pistons will probably win, but it's not going to be an easy win. I mean, if you look at the Sixers, we've kind of briefly touched on this in previous episodes, but again, they have a bunch of players who can kind of just do a lot. Like Tyrese Maxey just had 8 steals last night, which is ridiculous. So he can be, an on-ball and off-ball presence on defense, but also just one of the best offensive players in the league. And then you have Embiid, who his defense has gotten worse over the last, over the season. He's older and he has
He's a two
injuries,
now.
but yeah, he's a two, but that's a pretty good two to have if
Oh
your
yeah.
two's averaging 30 and 10 and still one of the best centers in the league. And then you have VJ who can do well on any given night. You have Paul George who can occasionally step up. Kelly Oubre and Quentin Grimes coming off the bench. Like this is a really solid team, and it's one of those teams that probably won't go far. Probably won't go past the second round. But if you play them, you're going to be like it will be a nagging team. I mean, they will just there's no rest against the Sixers. And so if you're the Pistons or the Celtics and you play the Sixers in the second round and you go on to the Eastern Conference Finals, that means you're pretty banged up, which could actually leave room, I think, for some of these lower seeds, like maybe the Magic or maybe, the Raptors, depending on how low they are. It's a really matchup dependent conference this year, which I think is one why the ratings are going up, but two why it's just really interesting basketball and fun to watch.
Yeah, no, I think the Sixers are going to be one of those teams where like they go to the playoffs. I do think they win a playoff series, just as
Yeah,
long as they don't play like the Celtics or something in the first round. But they're going to be one of those teams where after the playoffs, they're going to lose. I'm not saying they're going to, do anything significant in the playoffs, but I think they'll win a series or two. We're going into the offseason. I think there's going to be a lot of excited Philly fans about the Sixers
yeah.
next season. And, this is before the season. I thought this franchise was, I don't want to say dying, but was going to go into a dark hole for a bit. But now, if you're a Sixers fan, you should feel pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Sixers fan and I feel decent about this team, but I think also I've been led on so many times with the Sixers before just for them to collapse. But this year what I kind of like about the team is that the expectations are relatively low. Like I don't think anyone across the league and especially Sixers fans like they don't really expect this team to do that much. Like it's a fun team to watch and that's just kind of the baseline for the expectations with this team. But if you are the Sixers, I think in the first round, if you want to win a series, you need home court advantage. Like I will not be picking this team to move past the first round if they're the 5 seed or below.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
And then kind of transitioning to Ja Morant. Um,
yeah,
just kind of thoughts on him and saying he wants to stay with the Grizzlies, which I mean, I just think, players, you're making all the money, you don't have to move your family. And
yeah.
I mean, John Morant, I feel bad saying this, but he doesn't seem like a guy who really cares about winning championships. I know he says he does, but he hasn't really shown with his work ethic. So, I mean, I think this is going to be the new norm for the NBA. Like same with Giannis too. Like, why move my family? I can still make 50, 60 million here per
Yeah.
year. And I like it here. And like Giannis is different because he already won his championship. But just kind of thoughts on John Morant saying he wants to stay.
I think it seems the situation with Ja Morant that it's more of the organization kind of like pushing him out rather than Ja on his own volition saying, "Yeah, I want to leave." And I know everybody's like freaking out about the reports of him buying a house in Miami, but like if you're rich, why would you not want a house on the beach, So I don't think that has like too much validity about him going to the Heat or whatever. Like I don't think that really matters. But it seems I mean there's these videos coming out of him arguing with his teammates saying like address the issue, I'm right here. Like that's literally what he's saying. And he's being really confrontational with his teammates, which I think just leads me to believe like this is a situation where he doesn't want to be the one breaking up with the team. Like
Oh yeah.
he is the one who wants to stay. But I mean, at the end of the day, like you can only shoot yourself. I mean, no pun intended. You can only shoot yourself in the foot so many times. Like there's the whole gun charge thing. There's his inconsistent play. Like there was a time when we all thought John Morant was going to be a top 10, player in this league, which he's still relatively young. He
Talent
could kind
wise,
of get there
he is,
one
I'd
day.
say.
Yeah, I mean when he's playing healthy, he's like top 20. Like he's still a very good player. But yeah, as electric as he is, I think just there's so many behavioral issues with him and the team and kind of just chemistry issues and like the way he conducts himself that makes it really hard for him to stay with this team. But I think if you're putting all that aside, which granted is just a lot
Yeah,
to
which is a
kind of
lot. That's
shove
the
to the
problem.
side. Yeah, like he is a problem. He is still one of the most, or I shouldn't say he's a problem, but that behavior is a problem. He's still one of the most fun players in the league to watch, and he's been one of my favorite players to watch since he got drafted. Like he's
Yeah.
just an incredible talent, and I think like fans across the NBA can agree when they say that if there is a situation where he could stay with the Grizzlies and they do well, we want to see that situation. Like seeing a small market team like Memphis do well is great for the NBA, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, so with Ja Morant, I just want to say, like, if he did get traded, the problem is, it's like, if I were a GM, let's say the Heat GM, I don't want to give up all my young assets for Ja Morant, who, let's be honest, he's a flight risk. Like, he is a
Yeah,
guy. I mean, he's like, I don't know if this is a great comparison, but he's kind of the modern day Dennis Rodman in a way where you don't know what you're getting. Like, it's like with the whole off the court stuff. When he's on the court, he's good, he's great, but off the
yeah.
court. And it's just like, if I'm the GM of, the Heat or, another, even like maybe the Magic, I'm not giving up my I don't know if I want to give up all my young assets for him because I don't know which John Moran I'll be getting. And they,
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
it's
sorry,
one
you
thing
go.
with the Lakers when I mean, Luka's just a generational talent, but like, he came with a vengeance and he was willing to get in shape and all that. John Moran, I don't know if he's willing to clean up his act.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting now is a point that you brought up is that a lot of players in the NBA now, like when they get traded, it's for a ridiculous amount of picks and players. Like even if they're just decent, I mean, there's that Rudy Gobert trade that happened a few years back. That kind of just says it all. And if the market for Rudy Gobert is that high, it will probably be similar or equal to, or like higher for John Morant.
Yeah.
So I think if you're any other team across the league, what you're thinking is, okay, am I going to trade for a player who is kind of inconsistent, not always healthy, not always even on the court when he is healthy? Like, why am I going to give up my future just to have a player who might not even play like half the season?
Yeah, speaking of trades and going back to the Kevin Durant, do you think the reason why he hasn't been successful with the Suns and Rockets is because they've had to just give up everything for him? Because I think the Suns, and it's easy, hindsight's always 2020, but I think giving up Mikal Bridges, that might go down as one of the worst moves in their thing. I know he's not, a top 10 player, top 15 player or anything, but he gives you 82 games a season. He's a great locker
Yeah,
room guy. I mean, and he was the reason why the Nets were competitive in the post Big Three era. And like the second he went to the Knicks, they play smooth,
yeah.
good basketball. So do you think that's partly the reason why Kevin Durant doesn't really work? Because you have to give up your whole team basically for him?
I'd actually argue that on the Rockets, Kevin Durant does work. Like he's a wing and he's exactly what they need, actually. Like he is kind of if they are going to compete for a championship at this moment in time, like he is the just like the perfect piece you could have. But I think what it or I shouldn't say but and I think what it really comes down to is poor management from the Suns end. I think what's going on with the Rockets is fine. Like I really don't have an issue with it. But the Suns traded good starting players like, or you didn't retain people like DeAndre Ayton and Mikal Bridges, and they traded them for star power, which is proven in this era that you can't do. Didn't
Oh,
work with the
yeah.
Nets, hasn't worked with the Suns. It will never work.
Yeah. Um, yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think you saw Kevin Durant with the Nets and didn't really play too well with Harden and Irving. I know they only played like
Yeah.
15 games together, but I mean, yeah, I mean, I just think trading Mikal Bridges was a mistake. And I think if Mikal Bridges is still on the Suns and they get, not Kevin Durant, but a slightly less, guy, I think there's a good chance they're an NBA champion in the past couple years. I really think that.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you keep that core they had in the 2021 finals, and I mean, the Knicks kind of remind me of that team, like Brunson and OG
Oh yeah.
Anunoby and McCall and Cat, like they're the definition of a solid, consistent team with good coaching, or at least they were up until this year. I mean, they still are. They're the third seed, but I think when you have a team like that, will always be a team like the Suns with a big three, or like the Nets with the big three. Like the big three era just doesn't work unless you're the Warriors, and that's been proven time and
Yeah.
time again.
It's worked with two teams in the history, the Heat and the Warriors, but
Yeah.
both teams had all time. I mean, when you have like the two top 10 players of all time, it kind of works out.
Well, yeah, and you also have Ray Allen, and then with the Warriors, you still have like outside of your big three, which I guess is, I mean, who you can't even like define the big three really. It's
Yeah,
difficult because
it
you have
was a
Draymond
big
and Clay.
4 or 5. Yeah, no, it was like, and then
Yeah,
all four players, all the four-star players were in their primes. Like
yeah,
it,
exactly.
it was just kind of perfect timing. So you got,
It's very conditional.
Yeah, before we end this video, I want to get, I know I ask you this at the end of every video, a grasp of, if as of right now, who would your kind of prediction be?
For the champion?
Yeah.
Well, I think right now, I think again, like I give you the same answer each time, but I'm going to switch it up. I think the Pistons, with their win against the Celtics the other night, show that they could be resilient, and even when Cade Cunningham plays bad, I think he went like 4 for 15 or 4 for 20, something in that range. Like the Pistons can still win, and that's kind of just a show of how good their coaching is. It's a show of how good their players are. It's a show of how resilient they are, which I think if you're going to be a playoff team, that's something you need to have. And we've seen it in the NFL this year, like with the Rams and the Seahawks, but or even the Broncos. I mean, like there's so many instances in sports where resilience just wins, and the Pistons are that team. They're resilient, but so are the Thunder. So I think right now, the season. What's funny about the season is it's a bit paradoxical, where you have so much competition in each conference, but from each conference, there's really only one or two teams that can
Yeah.
realistically win it all.
Yeah. Um, I'm actually gonna go with the team you just talked about, the Celtics. I don't know, man. I
Okay.
just keep thinking the Celtics. If Tatum, when he comes back, and just play like a three, honestly, like a three, not even a two.
Yeah.
I think the Celtics. I mean, they're just dangerous. I mean, especially if they stay at the two or three and they get the home court advantage for the majority of the playoffs. But also another interesting team that I think no one's talking about is the Nuggets,
Yeah.
and I'm just
That's
gonna
true.
kind
I
of
mean, oh yeah. Oh yeah, we can leave it there. I think yeah, the Celtics are a really fun story. I kind of just want to talk about them because it's kind of like this movie narrative, this movie like narrative where the Thunder are like, oh, they're the team, they're gonna win. There's no one who could compete against them except maybe like Spurs, Pistons. But then the Celtics are looking good, and then Tatum comes back. That could be a little like, a little curveball in the third act for the NBA. I think it's potentially a really fun storyline.
yeah, I know if Boston wins, it's great for NBA ratings too. So thank you,
Yeah.
Finn. I mean, this was a great video. We're gonna, like Finn said, we're gonna kind of
Yeah.
do this series every couple of weeks. And yeah, no, we're
Yeah.
gonna hit you guys with another video this week, like about the NFL and then like our views of the coach firings and our predictions for the conference championships. And once all the coaches get hired, we're gonna give our rankings on like the coaches and like coordinator hires. So
Yeah.
ABL Sports signing off, and we'll see you guys in a couple days.
Yep. See you soon.